This is the key question. What's going to happen with the election? Philip O'Sullivan, Chief Economist with Investec. Philip joins us to talk through the latest Irish economic developments. So then, first of all, to what extent are you expecting the uncertainty caused by the upcoming election to be reflected in the Irish economy?
Yeah, this is kind of the key question really from an Irish economic standpoint in 2016, what's going to happen with the election. So we had in 2011, just immediately in the wake of Ireland going into the EU-IMF programme, we had a government elected with an extremely strong majority. They are quite a bit behind in the polls compared to what they would have received in 2011 when they would have taken about 55% of first preference votes. They're back in the latest opinion polls about 39%. There's about a quarter of the electorate are opting to vote for minor parties and independent candidates, which is unprecedented in Irish political history. I think that whatever government is formed, if it's the existing government, if they manage to lift themselves up in the polls, or a different combination of parties, the vast majority of Irish political parties would, in broad terms, subscribe to the same sort of political philosophy. They're not very ideologically driven. Most political parties are pretty centrist. So you shouldn't see any changes in policy, but I think it is going to lead to a bit of kind of nervousness as we head into the election. Probably will come over the next couple of weeks. We expect the government to call an election later on this month to be held around the middle of next month. And I think that Ireland is going to be the focus of a lot of investor attention when this election is called.
Okay, well, the dramatic fall in the Irish jobless rate from a high of more than 15% in 2012 has continued, and the latest data shows that at the end of 2015, the figure now stands at 8.8%. How has such a rapid fall in unemployment been achieved thus far, and can we expect the rate to continue to fall this year?
Yeah, the Irish unemployment rate has just dropped to a 7-year low of only 8.8% in December, and we do expect this progress to continue. The unemployment rate peaked at 15.2% in February of 2012, and the initial kind of reduction that we would have seen would have been largely a function of emigration, people leaving the country, and so on. But more recently, there has been very strong growth, so total employment has increased for 12 successive quarters. It's up about 8% from the trough. So the economy is creating about 4,000 jobs a month, which is not to be sniffed at in a country where the labour force is about 2 million strong. So we would expect ongoing progress with the economy set to turn in GDP growth of 5% in 2016.
And lastly, reportedly Ireland's annual GDP growth rate is likely to have risen by 7% in 2015, though the construction sector still remains somewhat of a headache. Having not recovered from a bursting property price bubble, how are you expecting this problem to be solved in the very short term?
Yeah, it's a pretty multifaceted situation with housing. So Irish housing output would have peaked at about 92,000 units back around 2006, and it collapsed to just over 8,000 in 2013, 2014. What we have seen subsequently is that there has been a modest improvement, so completions in 2015 are likely to come in around the 13,000 units mark. And we would expect to see slow kind of improvement. The average long-term average since 1970 is about 33,000 units a year. So certainly a level of output of about 13,000 is significantly lower than what we would view as a normal level of output. And part of that reflects the fact that many Irish property developers would have been the casualties of the global financial crisis, and obviously the banking sector would have lost huge amounts of money lending into the construction sector. So a lack of finance is one big problem, but in the background on the demand side you have very strong demand drivers. We have a growing population, we have rising employment, rising wage earnings, mortgage interest rates are coming down, so the demand for property in Ireland is extremely strong, but the supply has not caught up with that. So we have seen house prices rise over 33% from their 2013 lows. We would expect to see further growth in prices in 2016 and 2017.
Thank you, Philip. That's everything for today, but be sure to check back with Dukascopy TV for more updates throughout the week. See you next time.